Hello and welcome to episode number 48 of the All Things Sports Podcast. My name is Zach Bischoff and I am joined by.
Danny Shanholzer.
All right, good afternoon, Danny. How are you this afternoon?
I'm great, Zach. How are you, man?
I'm fantastic. Great to be back here and not doing a XFL exclusive show. So today, although we will be discussing the XFL later in the program because we were not able to do an XFL roundup show like we usually do because I was, of course, sick, as I mentioned on Twitter. And we'll also be analyzing both of our picks for each week because we have not yet analyzed either of our game by game picks. So we will do that later on in the program. Now, we're going to first start with the World Baseball Classic that actually gets underway, I believe, tonight, late tonight on the East Coast. So that will let me pull up the schedule here. First, Danny, can you just give your thoughts on the World Baseball Classic?
Yeah, for sure, Zach. And as always, it's great to be with you, man. You know, the World Baseball Classic. I am very much looking forward to it, Zach. We talked a little bit before we went on the air here about how it's so much better. I feel like than watching spring training because obviously, I mean, being from Pittsburgh, huge Pirates fan, and I mean, I pay attention to what how the team does in spring training, but I don't really sit down and watch a whole Pirates spring training game just because I mean the games really don't matter. You know, the World Baseball Classic, man. Um, it definitely matters, right? Because players, you know, they want to represent their country, and they obviously want to win the whole thing. And you got basically it's made the rosters are made up of the best players in the world. It's not like the NHL where they got it's forbidden for NHL players to play in the Olympics, which I think is a dumb rule. But that's another discussion for another day. But I mean, you got all the best players playing for a championship and playing to represent their country. I think it'll be really great, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, now I'm really not looking forward to this here start time, but I will not be watching any of these games. Although there is some baseball early in the morning here on the East Coast, at least for these other games. Now, when the Americans do start play, I believe those games are at a more reasonable time. Although I am not finding. Oh yes, here you go. So these times are more um, uh, suitable for those that are on the East Coast. And any just your thoughts on who you think who you think might have a chance of winning this thing?
Yeah, Zach. I really think it's wide open, and that's a boring answer, obviously. But again, I just think that and it's just why baseball is so awesome. I mean, there are so many players from different countries, and I think that just adds to the excitement here. I mean, I look at teams like Japan. I mean, they're always very good. I saw Shohei Otani actually had a pair of three-run homers in an exhibition game. So if you got Shohei in three-run homers, man, you got a pretty good shot at winning it. But obviously, um, the Dominican Republic is also I think a dark horse. And obviously, I mean, look the I think the U.S. has a pretty good shot too. I mean, you got guys like Mike Trout and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on the Dominican Republic team.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Vlad is out with, I
oh yeah,
believe,
you got
a
that's right.
ankle
The
injury.
knee.
I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
he plays for the Dominican Republic, I believe. Yeah, he's out with some type of injury. I'm not aware of what, but go please proceed.
No, so yeah, thanks for correcting that, Zach. But I mean, that'll be a loss for the Dominican Republic for sure. But again, I just think it's just really gonna be awesome to see so many different countries represented. It's in different areas too. They're having different games. different groups have different games in different locations, I believe. So that'll be really cool. And I think it's just a great opportunity. I think they're trying to get it to kind of be like the World Cup. I don't know if it's quite there yet in that if it's quite there in that level of just world popularity. But I mean, it's getting there, man. Because obviously, when you got multiple countries represented, that's just going to bring in a whole nother, um, just broaden the audiences so much more, and ultimately, hopefully, get more people to into watching the MLB. Which I mean, obviously, the MLB needs that, man, because their average age of a fan is not getting any younger. So I think this is a great way to get kind of the youth involved. I mean, it just again, I think it's awesome to see just the growth of the game.
Hmm. And I like it because it's combining. Now there's going to be certain teams that are going to run away with it, like the Dominican Republic. It's probably my pick for the championship will be the Dominican Republic and the United States of America, just because both of those countries rather, have tons and tons of talent, uh, and so that'll be interesting to watch. That gets underway tonight at, I believe, 11 o'clock Eastern time. Now, Dana, we're going to move to the NCAA tournament here, and we're almost to Selection Sunday, March 12th here. So let me pull up the latest bracketology here from Joe. What's his name? Joe Lenardi.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you see here on Pitt is currently listed as a bubble team. Now we did have the chance to secure a double bye in the Atlantic Coast Conference tournament with a win against Notre Dame. However, that did not occur. And again, that's a game I
Mm.
think we should have won. That I think will loom large come next week. But and also they did win. Or I'm sorry, no, they did not win against Miami. That was a 2 point loss when I thought they were going to win. Just Danny, your very brief thoughts on just that game in general.
Yeah, man. I mean, dude, Pitt has had such a great season, man, and it really, really is a shame that we did not secure that double bye, as you mentioned, Zach, because um, that just makes getting deep into the or the ACC tournament that much more difficult, obviously, because you got to play. I believe we'll play Georgia Tech before, and then the winner of that game plays Duke. So um, that is not easy, Zach. And like you said, man, we've had so many. We put ourselves in such a good position. I mean, Coach Capel deservedly so won um, the ACC Coach of the Year. Jamarius Burton and Blake Hinson were a pair of the All ACC team, which again, well deserved honors in that. But Zach, we cannot lose to Notre Dame. Like you said, man, we've put ourselves in such a good position, and right now I think we're finding it hard to really kind of um, secure that lock on the to be in the tournament. And just the loss to Notre Dame and the loss to Miami is giving um, bracketologists another excuse to say, well, Pitt's not consistent. Pitt can't finish. So I definitely have faith that Pitt is going to win against Georgia Tech. I mean, we've beaten them, I believe, two times already. But I mean, I'm just very annoyed coming from being a Pitt fan. We had a chance to win the ACC regular season title. We had a chance to be the champs of the ACC. Look, when Kevin Stallings was around, we had 2 wins in the ACC. Zach,
Yep.
two. I mean, that turnaround is awesome,
Yes.
and Jeff Capel has done an unbelievable job. And I wish that it was much more of a lock. than it is right now because of our slumps in the last week. Just we've had such a good year, and I want the magic run to continue, man. And I think it will. But it's going to be tough, man, because Georgia Tech. I mean, they're going to come out hungry. They don't want to lose to us 3 times, and if we don't win that game, Zach, then I don't think we're in, which is a shame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Now, before I get to that, oops. No, wait. That one. Okay. Um, Before I get into that, I think that they're either playing Georgia Tech or um, FSU. FSU they've lost to. It's another game they shouldn't have lost.
Yeah,
Another conference loss, or is that already determined?
no, actually, I before we came on here, that game just finished up, so it is
Okay.
now. This is good, Jack. This is good. Just kind of getting in the weeds here a little bit. So Georgia Tech won, I believe, by a score of 61-60 over the aforementioned Florida State, as you said, I believe.
Okay.
So I'm hoping now. Obviously, by the time most of you guys listen to this, the game will be over. Considering that it's tomorrow, but I'm hoping that because
No, it goes out tonight. I put them out tonight now. I don't wait a day like I used to.
there we go. All right. So anyway, I think Georgia Tech is going to be tired. Hopefully, so that should play to our advantage.
Mm-hmm. All right, now I can get to this. So as you see right now, Joe Lenardi has us in the last four. It's still a bubble team, as it says right there. But um, I think that even with some of the atrocious losses, I still think they deserve to get out. I mean, you have 21 wins overall. I think 15 or 16 of them in conference.
Yeah.
So, and and having that kind of a season after um, after having two or so wins in the ACC last year, or I'm sorry, last year or a couple years ago, I think that this team has put themselves in a position to deserve a spot in the NCAA tournament, and I do believe they will get in the end.
No, I completely agree with you, Zach. I'm just so annoyed, man, because we had a chance to literally clinch the 1 seed, and now we don't even get to secure that double bye, man. The I mean, again, we've had such a great season, man. Nike Sabandy won the Sixth Man of the Year. It's just I don't want this to end. I keep saying that, but
yeah, I think they're going to get in here, and this is just the mock bracket here, as done by Joe Lenardi, ESPN bracketologist. Here's your conference breakdown of all of your teams here. So there is that. So that should be fun to watch. The ACC tournament kicks off, I believe, this week. Coming or no? Is it next week?
Yeah, NCAA next week. Yeah, I think.
Or ACC, not NCAA.
ACC. I guess the playing games from the real seeds are today. And then I guess the round before the quarterfinals starts tomorrow, I believe, when we're recording this.
Yes, we're recording this on the 7th of March. Okay,
we
so now
May, baby, we sweep in May.
Yes, sir. All right,
March
let's go
Madness reference for those of you that might not know.
So we're also doing a March Madness preview show, probably after Selection Sunday takes place. All right, now let's go on to the XFL. We have a couple of weeks of action to catch up on, as we have not been here and for the last couple of weeks of the XFL season. So let's. So what's the last game we did? We do week 1. So
you and Ethan did, yes, yeah.
What week were you not here?
The week 1 roundup, I believe.
Sure.
Because that was Monday the 20th, correct?
I believe I'll have to go back and look, but let me just retrieve your picks. So, and I believe that Danny, as far as picks for week 1, he was 4-0, and I was 3. and 1. So, Danny, I'm going to give you an applause. Make sure the music's playing. It is not. Let me just give you a.
Thank you, Zach. I appreciate it, man.
Yep.
And I
All right.
not to fast forward too much here, Zach, but I did in the mono matchup, Zach. I did edge you out as well. The DC Defenders over the St. Louis Battlehawks, man. So I'm feeling good, man. I think this will be a good season in terms of picks for me.
Yeah. I think you're getting a little.
That was a great game, man. That was an awesome game.
It was. We will discuss that. Yes, we will discuss that in a moment. As I'm trying to find the All Things Sports Twitter account, which I have now found. Okay, so this is the week 3 picks, and these are the week 2 picks. So I had my pick first, so I had DC over. DC over Vegas. Actually, DC over Vegas. That is correct. So that makes me 4-2. Oh God. Okay. Oh, thanks. DC. I prefer that one.
Oh, yeah.
DC over Vegas.
I just saw you weren't sharing. I wanted to help you out there.
I had San Antonio over Orlando. That was correct. 5-2 for me. And I also had the Roughnecks over the Renegades, which is correct. That makes me 6-2 for week number 2. Now, Danny's picks. DC over Vegas. That was correct. Orlando over San Antonio. That was incorrect.
Not great, but all right.
And I Arlington over Houston. Yes. All right. Yeah. This is.
I'm at 5-2 right now, though. Right? That's solid.
I believe. Yes. Okay. And now we'll move to week 3. My picks first. We will go St. Louis over DC. That was incorrect. Arlington over Orlando. That was correct. San Antonio over Houston. That was wildly incorrect. And Danny's picks, DC over St. Louis. That was correct. Arlington over Orlando. That was also correct.
Come on, man.
And Houston over San Antonio. That was also correct. Oh no, that's wrong. That's correct. That is correct. Okay. So just Danny, your thoughts overall on week 3 of the XFL and your thoughts going into week number 4, which we will also make our picks to round out today's program.
Yeah, man. Dude, I mean, let's just start at the game that I watched the most of, man. The DC Defenders over the St. Louis Battlehawks, man. I mean, as we highlighted before, I thought those were the 2 dark horses in terms of winning the XFL championship. Now a lot can change between now and then, obviously. But DC sitting at 3-0, man, and I just thought that game. Now DC started out super well, but then they kind of let St. Louis get right back into it, man. So it's 14-14 going into half, I believe, and I saw that, and I was driving back from somewhere, and I was like, oh shoot, maybe me not being at my home had something to do with it. I don't know. That's kind of how my brain works. Kind of weird, but then DC really they started off really. Thank you, Zach. They started off the second half and just were able to kind of respond to the Battlehawks punches, man. And I know I'm really, and I mean, I thought that was probably a game featuring the best 2 teams, man. So I mean, I'm really looking for. I hope they I'm not sure when they play each other next. But dude, I'm looking forward to their next matchup for sure, man.
2 weeks, I believe, 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
Um,
okay.
yeah, so I think, I mean, I don't know. I mean, yes, the Battlehawks are good, but I think the two best teams are the Defenders and the Roughnecks in their respective, divisions. Because in XFL 2020, the Roughnecks went 5-0 under head coach Wade Phillips, and the Roughnecks in the 2023 edition of the XFL are currently 3-0 under again Wade Phillips. And so I think that they're picking up right where they left off
Yeah,
three
for sure.
short years ago. All right, now, excuse me once again, to round up the program here today, we're going to be a little bit shorter than we usually are. We apologize for that. So me first. You heard it here first. This is March 7th at about 4:55 p.m. That you're hearing these, just to put that on the record. I will say Houston over Orlando to start off week number 4. I'm going to say San Antonio over Seattle. I'm going to say St. Louis over Arlington because, as they like to say in St. Louis, "Caw is the law," and they are playing their first home game in St. Louis in about 3 years. So apparently they have opened additional seating due to the anticipated number of people in St. Louis that will be attending that game. And I will lastly say DC over Vegas. Danny, your picks for week number 4 of the XFL.
Yeah, for sure, Zach. Obviously, I think it'll be another week of good football here, and I think
Very
if you're the
entertaining.
XFL, you really what's that?
Very entertaining. The on field product, I think, even from XFL 2020 when it was good, it was really good back then. But I think now the actual on field product has improved.
Yeah, I agree, man, and that as you said, I think the evidence of that is St. Louis up wanting to get more seating, and also Zach, just the level of I know DC has a very big um, fan base here. Just
Oh
the
yes.
level
Oh
of
yes. Also, before you proceed, your thoughts on the beer snake?
dude, that was kind of. I know you tweeted about it, man. That was kind of crazy.
Yes, and
And I
also
think
your thoughts on lemons. Your thoughts on the throwing of lemons. We're just
oh,
looking for
the
time.
throwing. Yeah, that was a little.
Yeah, we do not condone any of this behavior.
I
So I'm
understand. I understand that you were upset, right, at the beer steak being taken away.
yes.
Um, that would not be my first response. Let's throw lemons on the field. I might ask, security, somebody along, try to get the manager. Can I speak to the manager of the? Can I speak to the
Oh
manager?
God, you're one of those people. To which I say
No, no,
yes. Yes.
no, not at all.
Yes.
But yeah, man, like you said, man, I think the on field product's been honestly, I would say better than expected in my
Yeah.
opinion, and I think I really enjoy just hearing the like the live mic stuff, and I think that makes it entertaining and everything
Except
like that, man.
when they have to dump the audio 15 about 15 separate times. You notice that
Oh
because
yeah,
they were hitting that button a lot this week.
yeah.
Kind of
Well, I
funny to
guess
me.
obviously you would. Obviously you want to. You want every demographic to be able to watch, which is good. Want
Yes.
to. But yeah, man. As far as picks, man, I agree with you. I think Wade Phillips. As you mentioned, Zach, 3 short years ago, he also led the Roughnecks to a 5-0 start. He's more than halfway on his way right now. I think they pick up a win against Orlando, man. As far as now, okay, Jack, I'm gonna own it here for a little bit, Jack. I picked the Brahmas to win the XFL uh, championship. I thought they were going to be a dark horse because Hines Ward was their
I
coach
like
being
the
from
uniforms.
Pittsburgh.
I'm rooting for them just because they're well Heinz Ward and the uniforms and the logo. I mean, and their stadium too. Their stadium's really cool too.
Yeah, is it the Alamo Dome?
Yes.
That's pretty. Yeah. No, Zach. I want to hear for a sec. I picked the Brahmas specifically because Heinz Ward was their was their coach, and I thought he might be a good motivator. I do not think they will make the playoffs, and that's my justification. I think the Sea Dragons beat them, so I don't want any of our listeners to be like, "Well, you picked the Brahmas and didn't explain
Believe me,
why."
it will be analyzed on the
Yeah.
XFL Week 4 Roundup, which will happen next week, hopefully with Ethan. I was not able to get him in time for today's show. Anyway,
No, yeah, and moving on, I, I, uh, I agree with you, man, because I think St. Louis battled against DC. They really did, and having to play 3 straight road games, man, that's really tough. And come out tier 2-1, I think if you're on the Battlehawks coaching staff, you take that 100 times out of 100. Well, maybe not 100 times out of 100, but 80 times out of 100, because obviously you want to go 3-0. I think St. Louis will rally behind their fans, and I think they're going to win against Arlington. And I'm going to make a prediction on the next game, Zach. I think the DC Defenders, obviously, I think they will win, Zach. But if I'm not mistaken, I think Vegas has had a couple of close losses. Um, so I think the Defenders will win, but I think coming off of their emotional win against the Battlehawks, I think they might take Vegas a little bit lightly, and I think that'll cause the Vegas Vipers to be able to hang around a little bit. Now, obviously, I still think the Defenders will win, but yeah, that's my
yeah.
bold prediction, if you will.
Okay. Now, have you seen any Vegas home games? Because if yes, I have a follow up question.
Not like from start to finish.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So the Vegas Vipers play at Cashman Field, which is a very old field. Now, I need to correct myself. The football product of the XFL is really good. However, the stadium conditions at Cashman Field are atrocious because last week, I believe week 2, it was raining and kickers were slipping everywhere in the field, and the field was mess. A whole bunch of dead grass, and everything else, right? So, and a kicker slipped. The ball, he actually kicked the ball somehow, and actually got a penalty because it has to go out, or it has to get like in between the 30 and the 20 or something like that. And if it bounces into the end zone or goes through the air into the end zone, it goes out to the plus 45-yard line. I think because the conditions that game were it was pouring down rain, it was not good. But I think the XFL does. I mean, I think the optics of Cashman Field, because they were not able to secure Allegiant Stadium in Vegas for some reason. I think there were better options other than Cashman Field because it's an old field, and everything else. But that's just my personal opinion of that. All right, so we are done with the official XFL segment. I do have a oddball question. Your thoughts on the new pitch clock in the MLB?
Zach, this will change the game. This has changed the game. I think for the most part for the better, because if you look at the average time of the games in spring training when this has been tested out, it definitely has been lower than games in the past without the pitch clock. So I think the overall, I think obviously baseball, the old adage "there's no clock in baseball" will no longer be true because there will be a pitch clock. But I think that overall that's a good thing, Zach. Now I do not like. I think there's got to be a better, maybe a situational type of type of rule because I know that the clock ran out, right? I believe it was bases loaded, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. Then the pitch clock ran out, so that's how the game ended. The pitcher did not get a chance to throw the ball, and it was ruled a ball, and the team batting won as a result of that. Now, if that happens in the World Series, Zach, if that is how the World Series champion is crowned, I think that's an issue, right? Because I
Yeah.
think obviously, you want to have it be kind of uniform, right? If it's the same in the first inning, it should be the same as in the ninth inning. I think there should be. I'm not sure what the penalty for going over for having a pitch clock violation should be, but I do not think it should be an automatic ball in every situation. What do you think, Zach? Do you have any
No,
thoughts on
no
that?
pitch clock in playoffs. Get rid of it. No,
I now
no pitch clock in playoffs because let me tell you something. If you have any playoff game now, it'd be interesting to see how they enforce this when it comes to when the games actually start playing. I feel like they're going to loosen up a little bit because they're really kind of calling it tight right now.
right, right.
But I think the pitch clock needs to in the playoffs be abolished. Just for the
But so Zach, with that, so now if you're a pitcher, right? Let's say, just for argument's sake, the pitch clock, they start pitch clock opening day, they go all the way through, play 162 games like that. Do you think if they say abolish it during playoffs, like would pitchers like rhythm be off? You think like is that something you have to kind of think about? Because obviously pitchers are struggling right now with that rhythm, because you don't have the extra time to rub the ball, do whatever. And if you're a batter, you don't have the extra time to restrap your batting gloves for the 10th time, which overall I think is a good thing. But you got to think about, look, if you do that, I'm not against you like a ball, but you got to think about the pitcher's rhythm. You know what I mean? I don't know if that made sense, but you know what I mean?
yeah, but I mean, I got you. I think I got you. So I think that if you play a full regular season with it, then you're going to get used to it. And then
Right.
let's say you get rid of it, your rhythm is you're going to be used to that rhythm. So they theoretically shouldn't have any issues with that if they would if they would ever get rid of the pitch clock, which I don't think they're
Now
going to
that
do, but I think that's what needs to be done come playoff time.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any other thoughts? Do you like the automatic ball rule? Do you have any other thoughts as to what it should be?
I
Like what the
don't. I mean,
punishment should
I,
be
I
for the
mean,
violation?
I don't. I mean, I don't really know what else you can do in that
Right. I
situation
mean,
of
that's the most.
automatic ball, automatic strike. I mean, that's really all you can do,
And
right? So
as a baseball fan, Zach, I mean, I want the game to get faster. I want to be able to.
yeah,
Okay, let's say the game. Let's say the game starts. Let's say the game starts at noon. Let's say,
yes,
and if I want to watch a full 9 innings, let's say I don't want to have to be watching until 4:30. You know, that's a long time to watch a baseball game. And I think so. I'm excited in that regard. I cannot fathom, Zach, what it would be like if an important game is decided on a pitch clock violation. But like,
yeah.
how do you? The question I'm grappling with, it, Zach, is how do you like equate the circumstances, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think we'll have to come back to this topic once
For
a
sure.
couple weeks into the regular season, just to see how umpires are enforcing this and see how many violations there are. Now, let me in the in the couple spring training games that are on TV here locally. Well, at least when AT&T Sports and our regional sports network here is still around, because
Yeah.
apparently the company's pulling out of the TV industry, and well, that's
Oh,
neither here nor there. Anyway, yeah, we'll come back to, and there were I think three or four violations in like one inning by like the same
yeah.
team,
No, I.
or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think that I mean the eye test right now it's not looking good for the pitch clock. But I mean, yes, it is. I'll give it. It is speeding up games, but I don't want it to decide the games like it has done a
Right,
couple of times here already.
right.
But I think once the regular season begins, I think we'll have to come back and we'll revisit this topic um, at
For sure,
another
man.
time.
Because
And,
this. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'll say in a couple weeks once the regular season gets underway and we see just how it is being enforced across the league.
Just what's so interesting to me, Zach, is baseball has never been like this, right? They're making the bases bigger. They're banning the shift. It's like it's becoming more efficient. But people that always thought of baseball as the kind of the national pastime.
Yes.
It's very weird right now, Zach. There's so much going on, and it's just kind of a new era for baseball, man. Just as we talked about in the beginning, the World Baseball Classic. Like, can you imagine that happening 50 years ago? Like, it just
Yeah.
kind of crazy how everything's evolving, Zach.
Yeah.
And my
And
hope is, Zach. Go
mhm.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, my hope is, Zach, that sorry, that my hope is, Zach, that all these changes and stuff can ultimately keep the younger demographic interested. Because obviously, I am a younger guy that is very baseball is one of my favorite sports to watch. I really enjoy watching baseball, but
Yes.
the average fan, as we mentioned before, isn't very isn't that young. So I'm hopeful that all these changes can kind of get kids more interested in it because obviously kids at the ballpark without the pitch clock. When we used to go to the ballpark, by the time the fifth inning was came around, it was just everybody was so tired from just sitting.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, I think that will speed up. I mean, yes, going to a ballpark is fun, for a couple hours, but not 4 or 5 hours,
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Especially when you got to watch the Pirates, which
Well, the 1 or 2 games I go to a year, usually, well, at least one of them is a loss. Any final thoughts for the folks this evening?
Noah, Zach. Obviously looking forward to the March Madness coming around here, baseball
Oh yeah.
season starting, the XFL, man, dude, it's a great time to be a
Hmm.
sports fan, man, and I always
Yeah.
love coming on here, man.
Also a great time, and thank you for coming on. Also a great time to run a sports podcast like we do here that we have almost been running for almost 50 episodes. Can you believe that? 50 episodes.
No, that's crazy, man. It
Also,
feels like
also, also, May the 6th is going to be our first anniversary of our first ever episode hosted on the All Things Sports podcast. So that will be
dude,
we'll do something
time.
special for that. We'll hopefully bring Ethan in here to celebrate that moment with us because he was on, I believe, from episode number 4, I want to say, and now he has his weekly spot or whenever he can join us on here to talk XFL or talk whatever. We're going to have a pod specifically dedicated for the Pens and their problems, and specifically um, Hextall's moves at the trade deadline, and also why I think that Hextall deserves to be unemployed come season's end. And with that, that will do it for the episode number 48 of the All Things Sports Podcast. I want to thank Danny for coming on today. Let's see, we're going to do that for Danny Shanholzer, and my name is Zach Bischoff. We'll talk to you soon. I completely botched this outro. We'll talk to you next time right here on the All Things Sports Podcast.